Here are the Ka'u News Briefs for Friday, August 23, 2012. Public hearings will be held, but not in Ka'u, on the proposed 20-year fixed-rate contract for Aina Koa Pono to sell biofuel to Hawaii Electric Light Company. Big Island hearings are Monday, October 29th at 6 p.m. Hilo High School cafeteria and Tuesday, October 30th at 6 p.m. Kealakehe High School cafeteria in Kona. Another hearing will be scheduled for Oahu. At the same time, public hearings will be held for HELCO's proposal to increase electric rates 4.2%, independent from the proposed Aina Koa Pono hike. HELCO asked the PUC to allow increases for all electric ratepayers on the Big Island and Oahu to average $1 per 600 kilowatt hours of household use to pay for the Aina Koa Pono biodiesel. The Aina Koa Pono proposal involves land between Pahala and Na'alehu and a refinery at the mouth of Wood Valley that would provide 16 million gallons of biodiesel a year to truck to the HELCO refinery near Kona Airport. Another 8 million gallons would be sold to a Georgia-based fuel distributor, according to Aina Koa Pono. The refinery would be constructed just off Wood Valley Road along Meyer Camp Road, providing 200 permanent jobs and 400 construction jobs, according to Aina Koa Pono. The complex would include a refinery and chimney, a processor to turn biomass into pellets before putting them through the refinery, parking lots for worker vehicles, trucks, loaders, and other machinery, a mill yard to store the biomass brought to the property, along with additives such as zeolite to be imported from off-island, and diesel storage tanks to hold the biodiesel before trucking it out of Ka'u. The latest version of the micro-D microwave depolymerization refinery process would require about 790 gallons of water per hour, according to estimates by Aina Koa Pono. The water would come from agricultural water sources nearby. For a 24/7 operation, this would amount to about 19,000 gallons a day, or under 7 million gallons of water a year. Most letters to the PUC since HELCO submitted the proposal on August 2nd have focused on the proposed fixed cost of the biofuel over 20 years and the question of whether it would suppress other renewable energies coming online. Aina Koa Pono says it expects its biodiesel would eventually be less expensive than fossil fuel that HELCO uses in the power plant it owns near Kona Airport. An opponent of the Aina Koa Pono approach to producing biodiesel in Ka'u and raising electric rates to pay for it is State House of Representatives member Denny Coffman. He chairs the Committee on Energy and Environmental Protection and recently won the primary election to represent Honu North through Kona. Coffman is an incumbent, but his district was changed after the 2010 census. It now includes a large section of Ka'u. Coffman recently wrote an editorial that states the following: "The state does not have an energy plan. We have an evolving energy strategy that is not complete and certainly not documented. Traditional planning for electricity is accomplished via an integrated resource plan. Our Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative agreement actually put the IRP process on hold for the last 4 years," said Coffman. "The IRP process is now in full development, and it must include planning to replace oil-burning facilities with renewable energy resources or other lower-cost fossil fuel options, such as natural gas. Hawaii needs a plan that reduces our cost of electricity," writes Coffman. Says Coffman, the PUC should not approve any HECO, MECO, or HELCO power purchase agreements or long-term fuel supply agreements until after the completion of our IRP and any associate energy plans developed by the Energy Office. To approve any long-term contracts prior to completing the IRP allows a for-profit company to control and dictate our energy plan. The only exception should be the PUC approval of contracts that clearly reduce our use of crude oil and reduce the cost of electricity, states Coffman. Coffman also points to the Aina Koa Pono project as an example of a contract that must not be approved by the PUC until after we have completed the IRP process. He says that based on HELCO's recent press release on the proposal, the cost for this fuel would be higher than today's diesel fuel costs, a price based on low sulfur crude oil that is costing in excess of $135 per barrel. To cover the cost of this more expensive fuel, a new surcharge would be required for all HECO and HELCO customers. The concept of creating local biofuels and for Hawaii is very much a statewide objective I support, says Coffman. However, he says continuing to focus on long-term fuel contracts that only guarantee that our rates will increase is losing focus on what must be our real objective, stabilizing and lowering our electricity costs. According to Coffman, unfortunately, our Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative and Renewable Portfolio Standards directed the utility to transition to clean renewable energy. The agreement and law did not direct the utility to replace low-sulfur fuel oils with lower-cost resources. This opened the door to replace expensive oil-based fuels with expensive biofuels, says Coffman. He says that the 110-megawatt facility at Campbell Industrial Park on Oahu uses expensive biofuel produced in Iowa and shipped to Hawaii. Says Coffman, Hawaii Island is already helping the HEI utility companies to reach its RPS goals with our large mix of renewable energy facilities. However, Hawaii Island customers pay over 42 cents per kilowatt hour for our electricity. As it plays out, a majority of Hawaii Island's wind, hydroelectric, and geothermal renewable energy is produced under long-term contracts that compensate the independent power producer at a price of oil avoided cost. They now want to increase our costs by adding expensive biofuels to the mix, states Coffman. He notes that some tell us that we should not get too upset about the Aina Koa Pono contract. After all, the technology that they propose using is only at the demonstration phase, and that building an oil refinery in Ka'u has many environmental challenges. It is a development project that will span many years and may never come to fruition. They also tell me, says Coffman, that we only pay for the biofuel if and when it is delivered to HELCO. If their expensive biofuel plan does not work, what is the other option for the Keahole power plant? Burning oil forever, asks Coffman. Coffman writes that most biofuel analysts that I have talked with tell me that biofuels should be used for transportation. The process proposed to produce AKP's fuel is a two-step process. First, the biomass must be microwaved or cooked to produce an oil. Then the oil must be taken through a refinery distillation process to produce a fuel. States Coffman, I believe that all refinery-type operations should be accomplished at the Campbell Industrial Park on Oahu. We already have 2 refineries in operation there. Over 20 years of the AKP contract, says Coffman, the ratepayers of Hawaii will be paying for approximately $500 million of infrastructure to enable the production of biofuel. Is this the best place to spend that kind of money, or are there major electrical grid projects that would be more beneficial for Big Island's electric customers, asks Coffman. What about a new smart grid to better accommodate wind and PV, he suggests. Coffman says that while I believe that biofuels will someday be a part of our overall energy mix, this is what bothers me about the Aina Koa Pono contract. HELCO should not be focused on a speculative biofuels project on Hawaii Island. HELCO's focus on Hawaii Island should be twofold: cost-effectively replacing oil-burning facilities with geothermal power plants and finding a way to renegotiate existing power purchase agreements to replace the avoided cost contracts. We can and must find a way to provide a profit margin for renewable energy independent power producers while lowering the cost of electricity, concludes Coffman. Science Sunday at Honuapo Park is this Sunday, August 26. Ka'ohana o Honuapo and Hawaii Wildlife Fund are hosting Science Sunday in the park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Marine ecologists from Hawaii Wildlife Fund will join natural resource managers from Imi Pono no Ka'aina, the Nature Conservancy, Big Island Invasive Species Council, and the Division of Aquatic Resources to present information about ocean species, watershed and water quality, and Japanese tsunami debris. There will be hands-on activities for keiki prize giveaways, and the Hawaiian Civic Club of Ka'u will provide free hot dogs. Ka'u Directory Cover Contest and Ka'u Chamber of Commerce Art Show are set for the CU Hawaii Credit Union building in Na'alehu, October 1st through 6th. The theme is Beauty of Ka'u. 5 categories for entries are graphic, sculpture, wood, photography, and craft. The fee is $5 per entry, and no more than 3 entries may come from any artist, and no more than 1 entry per category. See more in tomorrow's news briefs. These Ka'u news briefs have been brought to you by the Ka'u Calendar newspaper and underwritten by the Edmund Sealson Trust and Pahala Plantation Cottages. See them at kaunewsbriefs.blogspot.com and support our sponsors at pahalaplantationcottages.com and kaucoffeemill.com.